Alright, welcome back everybody, hope you guys are doing well. Today we got a bunch of stuff to talk about, hopefully this video isn't too long, but let's begin, okay? Starting off, we got XQC, massive big Twitch streamer, recently explained that he might be moving back to Canada. He's currently in the US, and essentially described how he was getting raided by the police every single day. And essentially, if you guys don't know how this works, this happens to a lot of popular Twitch streamers. Essentially, some really psycho low-life Twitch viewers, they call the SWAT team to your house, right? And they say that you're actually a threat. So the police shows up to your house with like a barrage of troops and like guns and stuff, and they're obligated to respond to these calls, right? Because what if it's an actual problem? So pretty much they show up to his house fully armed, scare the life out of him. Sometimes this even ends up killing people because, you know, the streamer's just like, I don't know, doesn't know how to respond at all. But you know, even though the same house is called 5 times, you might be thinking that, okay, you know, surely the police knows that after the first few times it's probably just gonna be nothing, but they always show up with the same enthusiasm and all of that because, you know, just in case, right? Then that's their job. And usually these viewers try to do this like anonymously, like tipping the police off, but usually it's traced back to them anyways, and then these viewers end up being like investigated and arrested most of the time. So it's really not a smart thing to do, and it really just makes you look like a dickhead. But yeah, pretty much here we have a clip of XQC talking about the whole thing. It might be a pretty long clip, so bear with me.
Because I was super hardcore worried. It's not the, you know what, dude, listen. I did it to myself, okay? I'll take full accountability, okay? I did it to myself, okay? By gambling in the first place. I can't really give you guys any proof, okay? But the main reason why I wanted to move back to Canada in the first place a month ago, before any of this even happened, okay? We were getting raided by the police station at rates that made absolutely no sense. Almost every day, the police came to our house with a full squad because of, you know, idiots. Okay, and I was generally scared that I was going to die. And then it didn't make sense to me. And I got so scared, I just said, I just want to go home. I want to go back to Canada. So I started reaching out to all my friends in Austin and I telling them about what was going on and asked them what they thought about it. And then some other stuff happened that was even worse, way worse. And I was like, I just want to get the out of here.
Okay, so he says that some other stuff happened that was even worse than getting swatted every single day. I mean, I can't really think of what could possibly be worse than that, but if he's saying it happened, it probably did. And honestly, imagine being one of these low-life viewers just throwing your entire life away, because chances are, like 90% of these cases, these guys just get arrested, right? I mean, there's a difference between like even trolling a streamer in chat and actually doing it IRL where it could actually affect their health, you know? Like there was another clip which I don't know if I have it with me, but essentially XQC randomly wakes up in the middle of the night and he's seen on another stream just kind of like freaking out because he had a nightmare that he was getting swatted. So he's like, where are the people? And then the other streamer who's adept, who he lives with, she's kind of like, they're not here, you just had a nightmare. And honestly, I don't blame him for moving back, dude. That sounds scary as hell.
My parents will work for me or whatever. Guys, I'm not trying to play victim. I just feel like I don't have any other choice than to leak it. Otherwise people don't think that I'm serious about this. Everybody keeps saying Kappa, everybody keeps saying that they don't believe me. And I don't want to give the reward to the person who or the people that were doing that. But now I can't, my back is against the wall. And you know what? That's my fault because of all the gambling shit. I mean, I had to, you know, I had to give some sort of proof or some shit. The police here is very professional and they're very smart. And they after the first big ass raid, they would give us like heads up or whatever, and they would like clear the house, whatever. And I found a way to remain on stream and not say anything at all, and nobody ever noticed anything different. And the stream always kept going. Every time it happened, they opened the doors. I gave a visual signal, and they cleared the rooms, and they cleared all the angles in the room. Make sure nobody was hidden or nobody was hurt or harmed, so they could finish the house or whatever. XQC, and nobody ever noticed. It happened a crazy amount of times. It's I don't even know how many times it happened.
Okay, so while watching this clip, a couple of you might be wondering what was he keep referring to, like what gambling stuff, right? Now I'm not sure I have 100% of the story, but pretty much XQC got in a bunch of gambling drama. Essentially, a lot of streamers were getting called out for promoting this gambling website, right? Essentially, they pay you a fat stack of money to gamble on this website, and sometimes your odds are like skewed in their favor. Essentially, you're a streamer, you're playing this gambling thing in front of a bunch of viewers, and if you earn money there, right? And then the viewers look at it and they're like, oh, you can earn money like this, and then they try gambling and they just lose all of their money. Now, the reason all these streamers take the offer is because they legit get offered millions of dollars to promote just a website, right? And honestly, deals like that are pretty hard to refuse, but it's just a measure of like balancing like what you're okay with. And most of these streamers who get offered like this gambling deal, they are already multi-millionaires. Like if you're getting offered a multi-million-dollar sponsorship, chances are you're already a multi-millionaire and you probably don't need that money. Now, can you choose to make that money? Sure, but some viewers may look at it as, okay, this guy's kind of a scumbag because although he has money, he just wants to do this gambling thing, make more money, and potentially scam a bunch of his viewers. Now, in XQC's case, he did do this gambling meta for a bit, but there's nothing proven as if like the website was rigged or anything like that, but he was doing a bit of the gambling thing. I'm not gonna stick it onto him or anything because I don't know the full story, right? You can research into that and find out for yourself. And once again, I don't know how that's related to the whole swatting thing, because even if he chose to promote a terrible website or anything, like what, you swat him for it? Like that's just weird. I'm really hoping that's not the connection being made here because that just makes no sense whatsoever. Anyways, moving on to our second story, Ollie London. This guy, a lot of you guys have told me to talk about him before, but I kind of stayed away from this topic just because of how creepy this guy is. But pretty much, he insists that he is transracial. He has coined this new term, transracial. Essentially, he's a white guy who wants to change into a Korean guy. British-born white influencer Ollie London has doubled down on their assertion that they're transracial after declaring that they now identify as Korean. London, who identifies as non-binary, has faced backlash on social media over the past several days after saying on YouTube that they transitioned races and cultures after surgery to resemble their K-pop idol, Jimin of BTS. Okay, so essentially, it's a psycho fan who's gone a bit loopy. And in a video uploaded to Twitter on Monday, London showed off their surgically enhanced Korean eyes while speaking more about their identity. I don't know if he's doing this to troll people or make fun of trans people, but I think he's genuinely just delusional because, I mean, he's undergone like 17 surgeries or something, and he's clearly obsessed with this guy from BTS. So here's a little advice from Father Pegasus. Therapy. Just a thought. I don't know. Now, finally, I feel Korean, said London. I identify with the Korean community. Maybe they'll accept me more from now because I have the look. Maybe people will think I'm actually Korean, which would make me really happy. They can see how much I love their culture because this is extreme length I've gone to because I love Korea so much. Okay, this gives me strong, like, weeb vibes. You know those really, really psycho weebs who really, love Japan and Japanese culture, and they're just like, yeah, I'm Japanese. Like, hold your horses, buddy. Calm down. You can love their culture, but that doesn't make you one of them, you know? I just want to make Jimin proud as well, because Jimin is my ultimate idol. I want him to be proud. I'm sure he'll be proud that I look exactly like him now. I think BTS fans would disagree. I have his eyes. I finally have Jimin's Korean eyes, and they're so beautiful. So I'm so happy with my new look. I can't wait to see the final results when my swelling goes down. What exactly is swollen? Is it the brain department? Because it kind of seems like it. Amid growing criticism in the hours that followed, London tweeted, "Transracial is a thing. I invented it. If you can be transgender, you can be transracial." I think it's a little bit different. Now I don't want to be a bigot or anything, but just saying, it's a bit different. I'm just pointing it out. Live your life to the fullest, be who you want to be, and spread love. You know, a wise man once said, stupidity isn't a virus, but it sure spreads like one. So pretty much here we have his tweet. My guy is verified as well. Really, Twitter? You verify this nut job and not me? Come on, man. So he goes on to describe all the stuff that he's done to his body. I've had a facelift, a brow lift, a temple lift, and eye surgery, canthoplasty, and my teeth done as well. Can you just lift your brain as well? Jesus Christ. Lift your brain from your butt and put it back in place, my guy. God damn. These are just part of my transition. I'm feeling really good. For the first time in my life, I feel beautiful. I'm looking in the mirror and I love the way I look and I feel happy, and I hope people can respect my decision. All I do is respect people on this channel, man. It's a very tough decision to come out this way, but I'm coming out as non-binary. YouTuber and Instagram star London continued. I just feel like I'm in the middle and my pronouns are they, them, Korean, Jimin. I know a lot of people that don't understand me, but I do identify as Korean. I do look Korean. I do feel Korean. Dude, I feel like you don't believe it yourself. Like, the way you're talking, it just sounds a bit loopy. I don't identify as British, so please don't refer to me as British because I identify as Korean. I don't think the British or the Korean want you, my guy, just saying. Listen, I don't know if we're heading into an age where you can change your race, but I feel like that would just make everything really confusing. And not to mention, it just doesn't make any sense because it really just undermines, like, pretty much the entirety of history and everything. And I also identify as Jimin. That's my Korean name. I know it's a little bit confusing for some people. Nobody's ever come out as Jimin or Korean. He identifies as another guy. What? That's it, guys. I'm identifying as KSI now. Give me millions of dollars and a hit song, please. But this is something that you guys know if you followed my journey for the last 8 years. You've been doing this for 8 years, my guy. Get a hobby. Have you ever tried golf? It's kind of boring, but probably more interesting than what you're doing, dude. So here we have a picture of the guy, and you said you were a splitting image of Jimin from BTS, and So he goes on to bring up Pride Month. I mean, I don't know if he's just making a mockery of the whole thing, but it is sad that during Pride Month, a month that celebrates diversity, equality, and love, that woke people would use my coming out and sharing my non-binary Korean identity, something that took me many years to understand and accept, and took me enormous courage to share with the world. I'm sure it did, and use it as a platform to degrade me and the LGBT community. Dude, honestly, last I checked, the LGBT community wants you out of it, I'm just saying. They continued, while I recognize that a lot of people don't understand how I identify and may find it unusual, being Korean and feeling Korean is part of who I am and how I feel, and I will never allow a single woke person to take that away from me. Don't agree with being transracial? Guess what? You're woke. Listen, it's this type of stuff that gives a lot of people ammo against the LGBT community at large, because they think psychos like you are a part of it when you're really not. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, before I lose more brain cells, let's move on, you know? Moving on to one of our favorite topics on this channel, Minecraft Twitter. Who's it gonna be this time? Spin the wheel, bum 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 bum. It is Karl Jacobs. So there I was, a beautiful morning, I wake up and I open Twitter, make the mistake of my life once again. Karl Neg and Karl Jacobs is trending. If you don't know what Neg is, we discovered it last time on the Pegasus channel, where we learned that Neg means negative, Karl Negative, essentially a hashtag full of negative things about Karl Jacobs. Now, I took a look why it was trending. Essentially, there was this account called Feral Updates who tweeted out, "Frick Karl Jacobs." And if you're wondering what Feral Updates are, Feral Boys is the Feral Gang, or Feral Twitter, are a group of Minecraft YouTubers consisting of Dream, George Not Found, Sapnap, Karl Jacobs, and Quackity. They are well known for popping off. I will spear myself tonight. Jesus Christ, that made me physically wince. But yeah, apparently they're called the Feral Boys, and it was supposed to be an update account, and they randomly tweeted out, you know, screw Karl Jacobs. So all the stands that were obviously following this account were like, what the heck? How dare you do this? And, you know, they got really mad. This person says, Karl Neg, I could make a whole long-ass thread about how wrong this is. You are a Feral Twitter updates account, which meant a lot of people with hyperfixations, including me, had your notifications on. It's disgusting that you wouldn't have the decency to tag it. Okay, so essentially the problem is this person didn't tag it Karl Negative. Essentially, a hyperfixation is another. I'm learning a lot from Minecraft Twitter, believe it or not. Essentially, you're obsessed with this one content creator, and if you see anything negative about them, you just go into, like, cardiac arrest. I don't really know how it works, but you don't want to see, like, you're a Dream stan, and you don't want to see anything negative about Dream. So essentially, before you click on something negative about Dream, you need to see, like, a tag or an indicator, or you will get really upset. And essentially, this account just baited everybody, earned the trust of everybody, and then turned around and said, frick Karl Jacobs. And then a bunch of people saw this, and I don't know, they had a seizure or something. Now, the entire hashtag isn't really pointing out anything negative about Karl Jacobs at all. They're just kind of clowning on this one guy. They're like, okay, y'all, I hyperfixate on Karl, but this is too funny. I'm sorry. They got it banned. Apparently, you're not allowed to say the F word to Karl Jacobs. So a couple things I found interesting about this whole situation is that, some people actually cry over this, almost cried seeing Karl Neg trending. Anyway, Karl Jacobs supremacy, heart. I'm going to ignore the Karl Neg. Anyways, look at Karl, he's precious. Frick, people are trending Karl negative. Anyways, Karl supremacy. As I pointed out before, this is pretty much, Minecraft Twitter as a whole. A bunch of girls fixated on this one, like, cute looking guy. I mean, this is just the same thing repeated and replaced with another, like, picture-perfect copy of the person. Like, there's Wilbur, there's Quackity, there's George, there's, like, Sapnet. Like, they're all just, like, I don't know, man. They all just seem the same to me. Anyways, that's pretty much the whole Karl situation. It doesn't even really have anything to do with Karl. It's just the stands freaking out over something. Moving on to this guy, I haven't watched Cory in the House, but apparently this guy was an actor from Cory in the House. Kyle Massey has been charged with a felony for immoral communication with a minor, so apparently he's been caught. Now, this was also trending on Twitter because this is a childhood show that a bunch of people watch. I personally didn't, but this is pretty similar to the whole situation of Drake from Drake and Josh getting charged with certain accusations, minor stuff. I don't really want to go into it now, but people are making fun of it. You can share a jail cell with Drake Bell, something like that. Anyways, it's kind of weird how some of these people turn out. It's like, you know, your favorite character from a favorite show, and you always think they're a good guy, but you forget that they're just acting and they have an entire different life out of it. Same thing for YouTubers and content creators. Everyone except me. Don't you suspect anything about me. But yeah, I'm just saying, don't get attached to your favorite 10 million subscriber YouTuber, okay? Because behind the scenes, they can be anything, you know? Okay, moving on to Steam. So, a bunch of you PC gamers may know of the platform Steam. Essentially, you buy your games there, okay? That's pretty much all I know it for. But there's apparently been this war on Steam and saying that it shouldn't have reviews, which is probably the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And honestly, I really expected this from Twitter, to be honest, because they don't want anyone to say anything about anything. If they have a favorite game and you say it's bad, they'll cry about it, so no reviews. Now, I don't know about you guys, but the way I find out if I should buy a game is asking my friends, asking other people, or reading reviews on Steam. You know, the rating, the stars, and you know how many people are saying what exactly they're saying. Oh, the graphics of this game are beautiful. It was like 10 hours of fantastic gameplay. And then you look at it and you're like, oh, okay, I'll buy this game. But if there's no reviews, then what the heck are you gonna look at? This is equivalent to disabling likes and dislikes on YouTube. It's like, how will you know if the video is good? Apparently, the Steam shouldn't have reviews narrative is making its way through indie Twitter again, so I want to reiterate how damaging this would be for a lot of developers. For whatever reason, when this comes up, it's always through the lens of reviews being a place where players heap abuse on developers and drive sales away. This is true for some select games, but it's not really for the majority of indie developers. Yeah, obviously people are gonna troll, but you know, that's not the main purpose of reviews. Like, just because a little small portion of it is bad doesn't mean get rid of the whole thing, right? The important thing is that it's relevant for a lot of us, and that for some reason it gets ignored in the discussion is the effect positive reviews have toward tipping someone in the potential sale or heading off concerns a player might have about quality. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but there's been a bunch of times I've gone on Steam and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy this game, but then I look at the reviews like mixed or negative, and then all the reviews are like bad. I'm like, okay, I'll hold off, whatever, I save some money, you know? The last one is especially important for those of us who don't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on art. What if you have a good game, but it just doesn't look very good? If the visual assets and description are all players have to go off of, that's a negative for you. One giant way your game can stand out is if there's hundreds of people directly on a store page saying that this game rules, go buy it. Do negative reviews drive sales away? Sure, to be frank, that's at least somewhat under your control though. I mean, I remember this one time I played this kind of like obscure game on my channel, and actually the developer of the game reached out to me and they're like, wow, my sales randomly went up, everybody loved this game. And this guy's like, wow, I got a complete boost, thank you so much. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I didn't even know, I just used it as background gameplay and kind of looked cool. But apparently people literally go to the store and buy the game off of that. And I think partly is that the game itself did have good reviews. That's the reason I bought it in the first place, because it was a relatively unknown game, but it did have a few reviews reviews, you know? Anyways, I'm not gonna delve any deeper on this topic. I feel like it's pretty straightforward that this is a stupid thing. Reviews should always be there. If you're on Amazon, you're buying a product, you want to look at the reviews, okay? If you don't look at the reviews, you're a dumbass. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all for the news today. Hope you guys did enjoy. I don't know how long this video was, but hopefully it was a chunky one. You know, Kit Kat chunky, baby. Let's go. If you did make it to the end, make sure to smash like, subscribe, you know, help me out a bit. You watched the whole video. Come on, bro. Anyways, have a wonderful day ahead. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.